Shalom, and welcome to Psychology of the Parsha for Parshat Vayera. Vayera is actually a continuation of the end of last week's Parsha. You see, in the end of last week's Parsha, we're told how Avraham, at the age of 99, is commanded by God and actually carries through uncircumcising himself. And thus, we hear at this week's Parsha, it says, Vayera Hashem el Avraham. Hashem revealed himself, appeared to Avraham, be'elonei Mamre, in the plains of Mamre, and he was sitting there at the doorway of his tent in the heat of the day. The sages tell us that Hashem came to visit the sick. In fact, from here we learn the valuable, tremendous mitzvah, the great virtue of visiting those that are ill. God himself comes to visit Avraham. Additionally, the sages tell us that this visit happened on the third day of his Brit Milah. On the third day, in the words of the sages, when the pain is the most intense, and I offer because that's when the healing is really taking place, so the discomfort is at its height, because you're transitioning from being ill to now becoming well, and that's when Hashem came to visit him. Interestingly, there are many laws in the Shulchan Aruch pertaining to this mitzvah. For example, and this also follows basic logic, one should not come visit the sick if the person is in total discomfort, if the person is not up to receiving people. You're not doing them a favor by imposing on them. However, when you do come to visit the sick, the Talmud tells us that one actually, under certain circumstances, certain conditions, can actually help the ill person to the extent that they remove a 60th of their illness. They alleviate a 60th of their illness. Thus, begs the question. God comes to visit Avraham. He waits a full 3 days. Obviously, God himself is beyond, above time and space. But in human time, this was 3 days. Why did he wait so long? Is there not a virtue? And certainly God would want us to learn this virtue. From whom better than from him? That one does not postpone a mitzvah. One does not delay the implementation of a great mitzvah, especially a mitzvah like this. So why is it that Hashem waited so long? The Rebbe suggests a very powerful insight here and a lesson for us all. The Rebbe explains, based on the statement of the Talmud, that one actually can affect the removal of a 60th of the illness, that one can actually understand, one can actually derive from this, that it's obvious that Hashem himself, when he comes to visit the sick, as in the case of Avraham, not only a 60th is removed, but it would be logical to assume that the entire illness will be removed. And in fact, that is actually one of the explanations as to how, in the narrative, Avraham runs to the guests, and how Avraham runs and slaughters the young calves in order to serve his guests, and you don't seem to hear about any illness, about any discomfort, because it was totally gone. As soon as Hashem appeared to him, it was gone. And that's the reason why Hashem waited till the third day. You see, what was this special mitzvah that Avram performed? After all these years of his selfless dedication to Hashem, Avram is finally given his first real mitzvah. The mitzvah that will now be embedded, infused in his physical body, will actually have a hold in this material world. All his other mitzvot were all in the spiritual realm. This was the first real-time mitzvah. In order for it to be a real mitzvah, in order for it to be really counted, as this adage goes, no pain, no gain. In order for him to gain, to acquire, to possess this mitzvah, he had to go through at least the normal, at least for 3 days, until the healing actually fully begins. He had to go through the normal process, the natural order of things, which is, it involves pain, discomfort, and all that goes with having surgery, especially at that age. And therefore, Hashem postponed his visit. Hashem delayed his performance of this mitzvah, of visiting the sick, because had he come earlier, he would have robbed Avraham from that special opportunity, the privilege, if I may, of earning that mitzvah. And this is a very important lesson. This is really a lesson in life, especially in life as a Jew. No pain, no gain is not like in your face, like, hey, no pain, no gain. But rather, as we explained in other parshiot, this is telling us that in order to truly own something, in order to truly master something, in order for a mitzvah, for a good deed, for a possession to be really yours, one has to invest. One has to have skin in the game. One has to have had invested some sweat, tears even. Not tears of agony, not tears of sorrow, but some pain, some sweat. And this is something that Hashem truly gifted to Abraham with delaying his own visit to go see his beloved servant. And this tells us in life, even sometimes we have pain, whether it is raising children, it may not be easy, whether it's performing mitzvot, whether it's being kind sometimes to others, it doesn't always come easy. But in order for it to really be counted for what it really is meant to be counted as, one needs to invest some pain. One needs to invest some effort, and it might require pain. My wish to you, my blessing to myself and to all of us, is that of course we should always acquire our mitzvot and everything that we have through pain, but not through excessive pain, not through too much material pain. That pain can come in the form of one's efforts intellectually, psychologically, and emotionally to put themselves into it. And that circumvents all the, God forbid, physical, material pain. Shalom.